Hello guys and welcome back to this class. So in this class we're going to be looking at two components from React Native, the scroll view and the flat list. So let's talk about the scroll view first, one example on it, then we'll talk about the flat list. So the scroll view simply is a view that allows us to render items that are scrollable. Yes. So if you want to put an item on your app and you want it to be scrollable, you want the user to be able to scroll through, you have to use the scroll view to do that. So how do we do that? Let's see how we can get that done. Alright, so this is the project I already set up. You have to import scroll view from React Native. Yes. So in this function here, I'm simply going to return a view and return a text inside, and this text will say scroll content. Alright, then I'm going to now call on the scroll view, and then inside the scroll view I'm going to pass in the text. So it depends, we can pass in images, it just depends on what you want to do. But for this particular lesson we're going to be using text. I have already generated some text here, so I'll simply just copy it and I'll paste it here inside the text component and then indent the code. Good, so it looks clean. So let's have a look on the app. Alright, so you see here we can scroll up all the way to the end, We can also scroll down all the way to the beginning. Yes, so you see that this content is scrollable. That's because we used it in a scroll view. If we had just used it in a text, it wouldn't be scrollable. So the scroll view allows it to be scrollable. And then the second component we're going to be looking at is what we call the flat list. So since we have done the scroll view here, let's do the flat list on another screen, on about screen here. We're going to do the flat list there. Okay, so we need to also import flat list. First, what is the flat list? The flat list is a component that we also use in React Native to render items, like a list of continuous items, just like you have on your social media. When you post, you can scroll through the post and it's endless, right? Yes. So that's the flat list there. Allows us to have to render a list of items. Yes. It's like a scroll view, except it's more powerful than the scroll view. The flat list is more powerful than the scroll view. And it has some additional features which the scroll view does not have. So let's see how we can use the flat list. We're going to import the flat list from React Native here. So the flat list works with data, and I've already prepared here in my asset. I have a folder known as local data and a file inside known as event.js. So here I already prepared a list of events that I want to display on my flat list. Right. So back to about, we have flat list here. So in this view, we can also use, if you notice here, we have a view, and on the other page here, I used what we call the safe area view and safe area provider. This is just for modification. It helps to prevent our content from entering the status bar. Yes. But for this scroll view, I'm simply going to do it straight. So I already imported flat list. So in this view, I'll call on the flat list, and the flat list is self-closing. So the data we are going to use here, we'll need to import it. So I want to import that data. Import, let's import my name. We're going to import my events from local data / event. Okay, so here I'll simply import my events. Good, pops up, that's good. So here in the flat list, I will simply pass in the properties that the flat list needs. And the first property is what we call the key extractor. This is going to help us to extract out the data using the key, using the ID rather, because when you have a look at my event list here, you notice that each of them have an ID. So we want to render each of these contents based on the ID. So this key extractor takes a callback function. So here we simply pass in item, and then here we say item dot id. That is, we want to render, we want the flat list to use the ID of each of these items when displaying them. Then the second property that we should know is what we call the data. So this represents the data that we want to display on the flat list. So in this case, the data I want to display is my events. And also we have another property called render item. So this property is what's responsible for rendering, for displaying those items that we can see. And this takes the callback function also. And here in the callback function, we are going to pass in an object here of item. So we'll pass in an object of item, and in the second part of the callback function, we simply return those items. So here we're going to return a view. We're going to return a view here. Okay, let's get rid of this one. Alright. So we return a view here. And in this view, we're going to now return each of those things on our event. So we have name and we have image. So we can display the name and the image of a particular thing. So here we're going to see how we can display that. So in this view, I can call it text. No, let's display the image first, then the text beneath it. So for that, I'm going to have to import the image prop from React Native. So I'm going to import image here, image component rather. So in this view, I'll have to return an image. Image is also self-closing. So image has a property called source, which points to where the image should be loaded from. So in this case, we're going to call an item dot. You see, when I do item dot, it brings out all the properties coming from my event. So you have ID, home, you have ID, image URL, and name, just like we have it here. Here rather, ID, name, and image URL. Good. So we're going to use the image URL here, ID dot image URL. So this will display the image. Then after the image, what won't display the text coming from there also. So here we do dynamic rendering and we call item dot name. All right, so let's have a look at the app and see. Simply refresh here. Oh, it says what? The way I call this. All right, so I go to my event. This is line number 5. So I go to my event and go to number 5. So they say the way I called this image, it's not correct. So I'll do that again. Let me just copy the image name here. Control C. I'll just erase it. Do dot slash images slash the name of the image. Okay, I think that's what I was supposed to do. So I'll just dynamically do all of them. Also here, we get rid of this dot slash. Okay, dot slash images slash the name of the image, which is y2.jpg. So I'm going to have to do the same thing for all my data here. Dot slash images slash y3.jpg. Get rid of this. Dot slash images slash y3, no, y4 now, .jpg. And here also dot slash images slash y5.jpg. Dot slash images slash y6.jpg. Dot slash images slash y7.jpg. Dot slash images slash y8.jpg, and the last one dot slash images slash y9.jpg. Alright, so let's refresh our app now. So I'll simply reload the app. So we should have some content displaying now on the about screen. Okay, this is our scroll view here. Yes, you see that? Yes. So we have the image and the text, which is coming from our event here. So we have the image and the name. So you can see that, right? We have just rendered a flat list here of a continuous list of items. Yes, see that? So that's how to use a flat list in your React Native project to render a list of items for a particular event. All right, thank you. I'll see you in the next class. And also we can style. Before I go, I should tell you about that. On the flat list, we have what we call the content styling. Yeah, content style container. So if we want to style the flat list, this is where we are going to style it using this property called content style container. That's what we use to style our flat list. So we can write some styles if we want to. And also on the scroll view, we can also use the content style container. The scroll view and the flat list does not allow us to pass in the style property directly into it. So here, if we want to style this scroll view style, we can use the content, container style, and then we pass in our styles. Yes. So I'll see you in the next class. Thank you.